Welcome to Turf Talk, episode 18. It's September here, and we're getting into aeration season, but I'm joined here with
Casey,
and we're going to get right into it. So, September, it's been unseasonably cool. I mean, through a lot of August, and I mean, it's 90 degrees right now, but I think it's unseasonably cool overall, and it's getting ready to tail back off. So that's helped us out some, hurt us a little bit.
What we've seen, Matt, we've seen a lot of repair when we wouldn't normally see it in August. Lawns bounced back really nicely over a couple of week period. The lawn was growing really fast. Mowing was hard to keep up with. But as you said, it also caused some issues because with high daytime temperatures, cool nighttime temperatures, and a lot of humidity, we saw a lot of dew. A lot of dew overnight, extended periods of dew leads to fungus. So we saw a lot of fungus growing on lawns. We saw some damaged patches in lawns. The best repair method that we have for fungus, we don't do a lot of fungicides because they're costly, they're mostly ineffective, and they're not great unless you're on a golf course. In a residential lawn, not a great idea unless it's an absolute imperative. But what we do is we just fertilize, we speed up the rate of growth. As we speed up that rate of growth, the lawn is going to outgrow that fungus and we'll see that repair. Most times, even if you've got a nasty little patch of fungus, it's a temporary piece of damage. It's not going to affect it long term. And if it does have a little bit of thinness there, we can patch seed that later.
Or we could, and aeration and overseeding is a great way to overcome that. And a lot of times, aeration and overseeding is probably going to be somewhat cheaper sometimes than using some of these really expensive fungicides to put out on on your property. Because even if we put a fungicide on, doesn't mean that it's going to bounce back. We might still have to aerate seed after that also. So we tend to not want to keep putting a bunch of chemicals on your property and wanting to, fungicide is just the same thing, just another chemical being put on your property. So we err in the terms of let's put some more nitrogen on the lawn. It's not harmful at all. And then let's just aerate seed when we get to the fall time, and it makes it a much better time.
The nice thing about seed, and we heard this a lot at the IPLLA convention that we went to recently, is seed is 100% organic.
And it's totally, the product that we use is totally pet safe, kid safe, family safe. So there's nothing harsh that's going down with the typical products that we use and we put on your property.
Absolutely.
So let's kind of get in a little further. We are in round 5, and so we've already kind of talked about that last year. Has anything changed? Are we doing anything different? I know we've got some Q4 I saw going out on a guy's truck today. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. Yeah, so Q4 is a new product that we're using. It's not a new product, it's a product that we're newly using. What it does is it has some different chemicals in it. They're a little harsher than what we typically put down in your regular application. So depending on the temperature, you might see a little yellowing if we treat an area. Typically it will bounce back. But we're going to use that on nutsedge, we're going to use it on crabgrass, we're going to use it on spurge, because by this time spurge is self-feeding. It's really hard to kill out. It's not going to respond really well to herbicides because it's changed its metabolic processes where it's not drawing food up from the soil and processing it. It's feeding on its storage that it's created throughout the year, and it's getting ready for winter. So that Q4, the chemicals that it contains are really good at killing those weeds off. With nutsedge, obviously we probably have to come out and make multiple applications. With crabgrass, we might have to hit it twice, but typically after the second application, it's gone. And that spurge, first time we hit it, it's out of here. So.
And we put that in a backpack. We don't blanket spray this over your guys' lawn.
Correct. It's very expensive, and again, it's very harsh on the lawn, so we want to limit any damage that we might be causing to get rid of those weeds. Obviously, you don't want those weeds in your lawn. We don't want them there, so we are going to spray them. If there is a little bit of chlorosis due to the harshness of the chemicals, again, it bounces right back after a couple of weeks, and no major damage is done.
And I kind of want to bring this up right now. Typically this would go later in the show, but it makes sense to bring up now with us using some harsher chemicals. One of our big cancellation reasons is that people assume that we've done more damage to their lawn than without us. And that's because previously they saw this, when they looked out from their front window, they saw green. And a lot of times that green that you see are weeds. And so throughout the year, we're starting to kill these weeds off, kind of like the Q4. It's targeting weeds like, you know, if you came on past us being able to put out a pre-emergent and post-emergent for crabgrass, you might have this crabgrass, and now we're spraying this Q4 on them, and we might be killing the crabgrass, leaving patches in your lawn that it appears that we're doing more harm to the lawn than not. But we have to get rid of those weeds in order to have almost a blank slate that we can aerate, seed, or slice seed to actually get grass growing as opposed to the weeds.
And that's very much what it is, Matt. Those weeds are in competition with your grass. So if you have a nice big bunch of crabgrass and we kill it out, it's competed with the grass that was there and probably choked some of it out by starving it from sunlight. So yeah, you're gonna have a patch that's dead. And we will, again, patch seed those.
It's just part of the process. You know, we have to go through this process in order to get your lawn back and looking really, really nice. But it's just part of the process. You know, we try and tell everybody, hey, it's a 2 to 3 year process. Just stick with us. We've done this a lot of times. You know, we know the process. Just stick with us, bear with us, and everything will be okay. But we understand the other concern is that you're spending really good money with us, and it might not be what you expected. So we totally understand the frustration if that is something that you're dealing with, but I just want to let you know it is part of that process.
Repairing a lawn or getting a great lawn is a process. It is a process that requires patience. The only true way to get a great looking lawn immediately is to spend thousands of dollars on sod, and who wants to do that?
Yeah, and sod is not better than grass seed. Growing seed in your environment, in your yarn, from seed is going to produce a much better result than ever growing grass in a whole different environment, cutting it off at its knees, bringing it to your yard, and expecting it to establish itself really well. Yeah, that presents a big problem too.
The only real benefit of sod is instant gratification.
Yeah.
You're probably going to regret it
But you're going to have to water way more, you're going to have to put more fertilizers on it.
Absolutely.
So the best way to do it is from seed. And so speaking of that, we've already done some aerations. September is our big aeration month, as is October, because that's when the temperatures start to come down. We start seeing more humidity, more dew. That really helps out the seed. And so if you are on a Happy Lawn package, so Happy Lawn Plus or Happy Lawn Pro, you would have gotten an email, and that email was in regards to if you have any underground lines, such as dog fence, irrigation heads. You know, if you have a lamp post that's kind of offset your maybe front door or front sidewalk, you know, it might have a light line going there.
Exterior lighting.
So we sent out this email to ask you if you needed any flags, because we don't want to hit any of these things. You know, we want to be very cautious and not hit any of these. For the other utilities, you would need to call 811. But we send out these flags. This is a roll of 100 flags, and we break them down and we send you how many that you request. So you might request 10 of them or 20 or 30 or whatever, and we'll send them in a big, I'm going to cover this guy's name, but a big folder like this, and these flags go in the folder, and I believe there's also a direction sheet in here. And so we send that out to you, so then you can mark those things that the utility company won't mark, like your dog fence. They don't mark that stuff. They only mark the cable lines and the gas lines and those kind of things.
Correct.
So then we will do the aeration, and then after we're done with that aeration, we put out a sign in your lawn, and we want it to be really big so everybody knows that you just had an aeration done. And this says completed, stay off the lawn. And so we want your mail guy to know, and you know, kids playing, if they see this, hey, you know what, something's going on, we want to stay off the lawn. As that is germinating, we give you a 60-day watering schedule after we do this aeration. you really need to stay on. And that's how long these signs should stay for, 60 days, and then we'll come pick them up, you know, at the very end. So if your HOA doesn't allow this, that's unfortunate, because you're probably not going to get as good as a result as if you had this sign, just from people staying off the lawn.
Yeah, those young grass shoots are very tender, they're very fragile. Traffic can definitely damage them.
Yeah.
So we want to try to limit that traffic, keep the dogs and the kids, you know, off the lawn as much as possible. But we understand, you know, you're going to have some traffic on the lawn. We just want to keep that to a minimum.
Yeah. And you can still mow the whole 9 yards. You'll get an aftercare instruction. It'll tell you everything that you can do. You can still mow, but you know, if you can go the 2 weeks or whatever between cuts, the more you stay off the lawn, the better it's going to be until this new seed actually matures. So now that we've talked about the fertilization, weed control, and gotten into aeration, let's kind of talk pest control.
Sure.
So where are we at with pest control?
So most customers are receiving their 6th round of mosquito, perimeter pest, and their 3rd round if they are on the pet lever program of flea and tick, which is the final round for flea and tick. There still is a September round of mosquito and a September round of perimeter pest control, and then an October round of each of those services as well. If you signed up later in the year, obviously you're kind of behind on that schedule, so you're not receiving your 6th round, but we are on schedule for those. So just keep a lookout for the notification to come into your inbox that says that we'll be out. I believe we will be doing a round of perimeter pest, flea and tick, and mosquito treatments at the end of the week or beginning of next week.
Okay. And one thing that you may not know, or you may not know, if you have dogs and animals that play outside, if they bring in fleas, typically you would have to bomb the house and such like that to get rid of the fleas in your house, or else they will go everywhere.
Yeah.
And so if you don't, you use, or if you are trying to prevent it, you might put something like Frontline, or there's another big brand out there that you put this chemical on the dog, and that chemical is actually the same chemical that we use, that we put on the entirety of the lawn, multiple applications a year, just like you have to put multiple applications of this directly on your dog's skin. Yeah. So if you can put this directly on your dog's skin, we put it out on the lawn, so it's 100% pet safe, pet friendly. But instead of having to put that chemical directly on your animal's skin, it's a little bit more humane just to put it out on the lawn, and let's just keep all of those away from the lawn so they're not biting the kids and you know, all this other stuff. So I'm just wanting to make sure that you know that the pet lover program is 100% pet friendly. As we go forward next, so in September you said we're going to start at some point this month, round 6, is that correct?
Towards the end of September, we will be starting round 6. That's your winterizer app. And in my opinion, that's probably the 2nd most important round that you get. I'm kind of tossed. Round 1 and 2 obviously has your crabgrass pre-emergent. Totally important. But round 6, what it does, Matt, is it's going to build up that nutrient storage inside the grass, and your grass is going to feed off of that all winter long. So it's going to remain healthy through the winter. It's going to do a lot of repair and replacement with that nutrient, and it's going to boost its health. And then in the spring, what you're going to see is your lawn will come out about 2 weeks earlier than the neighbor's lawn who didn't get that winterizer, just because it has those added nutrients. It has that storeroom of energy, and it's just waiting to go. So as soon as conditions are right, bam, nice green lawn.
And you can drive through the Meridian Kessler neighborhoods in Broad Ripple, where we have a big population of clients down there, and you can see, go through there in the spring, and you can easily see the yards that are coming out so much earlier than the rest of them.
Yeah, the last week of February through the first 2 weeks of March, you're going to see that big difference of this lawn's green, but this one's still kind of brown and dormant looking. It's still asleep, but yeah, that lawn that got that winterizer is wide awake. It's raring to go, and you're probably seeing some upward growth and almost ready to mow.
So do you have anything else, fertilization, weed control, pest control related to discuss?
No, we talked about fungus. Weather-wise, hopefully what we'll see is, right now, like you said, it's hot. Today it's muggy. I bet it's like 85% humidity out there. I walked out earlier and got smacked in the face with it. It hopefully will break soon. Going into September, typically we see 70 degree days and maybe some 50 to 55 degree nights. We're going to see less humidity, which means less dew, which means less fungus. So hopefully we'll see nice green lawns and great growing conditions for this aeration and overseeding.
Awesome. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is we're about a month and a half away, but as soon as aeration season ends, our sister company, Indie Christmas Light Pros, is going to start hanging Christmas lights. So
'tis the season.
The season's getting here. I think I saw a meme the other day. It said, I mean, this might have been a couple weeks ago, but we have like 17 Fridays until Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like, holy moly, like I'm still have, nightmares from the springtime of, oh, we're fertilizer, we got a whole trailer full of mulch, and heck, it might snow tonight, so we're gonna have to dump this trailer of mulch and hook up the snow plows. Like, that nightmare still has not ended.
Right.
And it's getting ready to start again. So if you guys are interested in getting a quote for us to professionally hang Christmas lights, we'll have to do another episode specific on Christmas lights and what we actually do for that, because we custom make them for the house and it looks really awesome. And if you don't want your significant other climbing up on the roof and taking the chance of slipping and falling, give it to us. We have all the safety gear, everything, the training, and the knowledge to do that safely. So we can definitely help you out and help bring cheer to your guys' home, your family, and your neighborhood.